Welcome to another episode on the Move, Talk, Thrive podcast. Today we're talking about something that is sometimes a little bit dry, but it's really, really important. And we're talking about streamlining your workflow to make sure you're being super ultra productive when you're at work, which means that you're protecting that sacred time outside of work and you're not taking work home with you. It's something that we've really had to master, and we're really trying to get our teams to master as well so that we can all work really effectively together. So let's look at some policies and procedures and systems and frameworks that we use in our businesses to help us and our teams be super productive.
We are child development obsessed business besties and mums, and we're here to spill all our secrets.
We have a combined 30 years experience working with children, and each episode we will bring you up-to-date research and evidence-based strategies to set your children up to thrive.
I'm Lizzy Dawson, Australian exercise physiologist.
I'm Emily Mackey, Australian speech pathologist,
And this is the Move, Talk, Thrive podcast.
Hey, Em, how are you?
Hi, Lizzy. Good. I'm enjoying the sunshine. How's your day going?
It is good. I'm feeling pretty good at the moment, I don't know.
On track? That's a good feeling. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, no, I feel good. I feel good. I feel like I feel motivated, fresh.
Good. That's good. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to leave work at work, essentially.
Yes, yeah. It's something that I feel like you have really mastered. I feel like it's something that I really struggle with. I feel like it's holding me back a little bit. And uh, yeah, I want to pick your brain about how you have implemented it because you are not a details person, are you?
Well, this is the question that I always struggle with myself because no, I'm not a
Mm.
details person. I'm not a high person on tenacity, but I think because I think though I can do the details with my invention because I really like new things and new ideas. And so then that helps me to implement things with detail.
Right.
But I don't like
Which,
dry details normally.
and this is what I like, right? Like I like inventing and problem solving and coming up with solutions. So I'm kind of always like, right, what's going on? What do we need to do differently? What do we need to put in place? And I kind of create all that. What I don't do is the follow on
Mm.
parts
Of,
of that.
of
So
rolling something out, maybe.
yeah, well, yeah, I just don't I finish it, I hand it over, but I don't follow up and I don't follow it and I don't, like I'm not
Mm.
like I'm
That
kind
would
of
be
just
me too.
constantly recreating.
That would be me too. I struggle to then follow things and follow up on things.
Yeah.
That was a huge gap at Speak About for many, many, many years. Like I would just have all these great ideas, all these awesome inventions. I would put it in place, systemize it, but then I would never look at it again. And so that's where Brie and Mackie have really helped because they have the gift of tenacity. And so they are the ones that go back and go, okay, is everyone doing this? How are we going? But I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, it's just not what I'm good at. I'm happy to say I'm
Yeah.
just not good at it. I
Yeah.
just forget it. It's not like I intentionally forget it. It just doesn't cross my mind. I'm too busy moving to
I,
the next new thing, which is
that's
probably most
me.
entrepreneurs and most business owners, right?
Yeah, totally. That's me. And that I just feel like I need to probably delegate. And I've done this at Northside. So I've got Josh and Matt working with me in my leadership team, and they are both detailed oriented and very much Josh is. So he's kind of just taken it over. It's probably, I wonder whether my discomfort in the systems and the processes is that I don't really know what's going on. So
Mm.
I'm kind of like, I wonder if they're doing X, Y, and Z because I'm not in the details of the processes. So I'm just trying
Mm.
to figure out how I can, um, yeah, how I can manage it better. So if you said that it was your systems were an issue for a long time,
Mm.
how did you rectify that?
Well, I don't think that the systems were an issue. It was like, no, it was. The system itself, let's just back a few steps, right?
Mhm.
So when we're talking about what a system is, right, that's basically a procedure of something that you do over and over again. So this could be in your business, or it could also just be as an employee. So I know that I actually had really good systems when I was just by myself, individual. In my first
Same.
job, my second job, I had my personal systems down pat because I did not want to take work home. Like that was my main thing. I was so sick of doing uni work on the weekends that I remember when I started my first job, my goal was I am not taking work home unless it is absolutely critical. I will not take it.
Mhm.
And so, in order for me to do that, sometimes I had to spend extra time at work or I'd go in extra early to get to understand. But then by the time I felt 2 years into the job, I was proficient enough that I had my personal systems, which are tasks that I completed over and over again, down pat. And I had a good understanding of my time. So I think there's two concepts there,
Mhm.
an understanding of your time, an understanding
Mhm.
of what you can and can't do, your abilities. Like if you
Mhm.
need to smash something out, can you smash that out? Or do you need to go and ask someone else for help? Like
Mhm.
how long does it actually take you to do something? Do you need to collaborate with someone? And then also, I was then looking at if I'm doing the same thing over and over again, how can I get this quicker? So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about systems. And I think, to be honest, that skill's just translated over to business.
Mhm.
So, that's probably one thing there. Get your systems right for yourself, like you, talking to you, Lizzie, but also our audience. If you get your own systems right and your own management of your own diary, which I think you do very well,
Totally. I've totally nailed that.
then that
I'm
you just
just,
apply that across on a greater scale because systems are what help
mm,
you scale. And it's by scale, I mean grow. And so that might be grow your capacity, grow your team, grow your leadership skills, grow your business. It's not just like when I say scale, we're not just going, oh, like big businesses, thinking about
mm,
growing and what that growth looks like for you.
mm.
It might be growing with your time. So, you previously could only manage 3 reports and now you can manage 5 reports because you've
Yeah.
systemized it and it's
Yeah.
taking away the brain work for you. So just that's a bit of a context there. But I think a big thing is understanding yourself and really
Mm.
understanding then the people around you that you work with and understanding what everyone's strengths are. So I'm like very honest and I'm very transparent with anyone who comes into our workplace. And even so, I actually was speaking to one of my admin girls a couple of months ago. She's a student. And I said to her, can you help me get this password off this computer? And she was like, don't you know? And I said, no. And she said, you're the business owner. And I said, look, I will tell you right now that details, knowing where things are, technology are not my strengths. And she was shocked that I just openly admitted to her, being the business owner. And I think because she was like, you could do everything. You're the business owner. Like, you have
Mm.
such a big social media profile. You've created all these programs. And she was so shocked. But I was like, I have no problems staying in my lane and saying what
Yeah.
I'm good at and what I'm not good at and knowing who can help me with that.
And the thing is that you can do that.
Yes.
It, you can do that. And I was kind of like, I got into this mode earlier this year or last year, and I was like, I can't, I don't know tech. I don't know the email system. I don't know like the lead system. And then when I stepped into it, because I needed to step into it, I was like, oh, I can do this. So I can
Yeah.
do it. It's
It's
like you
just
can do
brain
it if you need
space.
to do it. It's just that it takes up energy that you need to be spending somewhere else.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm like in the middle of doing something high level. I just need the password. So if I'm going to go and do that, that will take me 15 minutes. Whereas I know you can
Yeah.
do it in 2 minutes because that's what you do every day. And
Mm,
I also feel like then that person has a role. So as a business owner, that's important because I'm not thinking I can take everything on myself. I'm then saying,
mm,
okay, so you are important here because you helped me get a password, something as
mm,
simple as that. But in order for her to then get the password, there's a system, which is a procedure because we always are going to access the passwords. So she follows the procedure, which is we go to LastPass, which is where we were having our passwords saved on a confidential platform. It's changed now. But So she knows the login details for that. She knows how to pull up the page. She knows where to get the password from. That's a system that she repeats over and over again.
Mhm.
So in our business, we have that written down. It has evolved over the years. Like we used to have it all on paper. We had it in flow charts, like a visual representation, and then like a written representation as well. Now it's all electronic and it's online, and you can search for it in a database and find it. You just need to know what your search terms are.
So where do your systems, do you call them systems for starters? Because sometimes people call them processes.
No, we call them policies and procedures.
Yeah. So where do they live?
In our SharePoint on our OneDrive, like
Yeah.
which is the Microsoft thing that
Yeah.
we
So we use
speak
Google
about.
Drive. Okay, cool. And how often do you update them?
We've started putting on the end of our policies when it was last reviewed and when it's due for next review. This is
Into
not
each
me doing this.
policy? Into
Yeah,
each,
this is not
yeah.
me doing this. This is the detail-oriented people doing this. And then they have an Excel spreadsheet, which has then a overview of what month things need to be reviewed and what year. So some policies and procedures don't need to be reviewed. Like most, you'd say 12 months, but some are okay for like 3 years, 4 years. I think it's when you have a major shift or pivot in your business. And then sometimes things happen naturally. So we recently put out I'm going to say maternity leave policy, but it's not. It's like a family leave policy, maybe like 6 months ago. And then so what we've done is every time that someone's had a new baby, I say to the team, because the team are following the procedure, like the girls who are pregnant follow the procedure, and then our admin follow the procedure, and then our leadership team follow the procedure. So I've just said to them, every time you follow that, when someone else has a baby, you update it because baby stuff and medical stuff in that land and sphere changes all the time. So it's maybe when you go to use it, you update it because it's not used all the time. But then the importance of having a procedure or a system around that is because you don't use it all the time. So say you walk through maternity leave with somebody as an or an employee, if you're an employee having a baby and you're going to your employer and walking through your leave, it's not something you do every day. So you need to have things written down because then next time you, as a business owner or an employee, next time you have another baby, which might be 2 years later, you then don't have to waste all that mental energy thinking about it. You just go back to what was doing and update it and then follow it. So that's the importance of a procedure in a workplace or for an employee to follow, right? It makes their life easier. They
Yeah,
don't
I was
have
just
to
going to
stress more.
say, let's talk to the, like, because I know some of my team listen to this podcast. Let's talk to why it's important and the benefits it has for an employee or, a service provider, not a business owner. So
Mm.
what's your sell
Mm.
to your team, I guess?
Well, a lot of people think, am I doing this right?
Mm,
Have I got all the steps? Have I missed anything? Is this the expectation of the business? Whatever I'm doing, am I meeting the expectations?
mm.
Um, and sometimes then you think, I'm so busy, seeing my caseload. Because it's a policy and procedure, right? You just think, oh, I'm too mentally exhausted. I'm just going to keep putting that on the back burner, back burner, back burner because it's going to take up too much mental load for me. And I'm trying to save my mental load for my caseload. Also, you may be sick or under the weather or suffering with some mental health issues. And so then the procedure will hopefully make your life a bit easier because if you're under the weather, all you need to do is pull up the procedure and read it and look at it and know what the steps are, right? If you've got anxiety or anything like that, or low in resilience, that can be really daunting if you're trying to do something and you don't have a procedure for it. In saying all
Yeah,
that, I'm aware I'm a type A person and I'm a logical person. I know not
yeah.
everyone's like that. And I know a lot of people, creatives in particular, they're like, don't put me in a box. Don't stare at my creativity.
Mm.
So, but I do think there's room for both. There's room for balance and there is room for creativity. if you know what's expected of you, then you can then go, okay, well, that's the
Yeah,
baseline. I'm going to be creative outside of that.
totally.
Or if this is the procedures for this, okay, this is a very basic thing. I don't need to be creative in this procedure. Like if it's just following your diary or booking system, or if you're calling in sick, how do I follow that procedure? How do I let my
Mm.
clients know whose responsibility is it? Like, who do I call in sick to? Whose responsibility is it to let my clients know? How do I
There are
let them
all
know if I'm
things that can
going
create
tomorrow?
stress, right? Like it's about
Yeah.
reducing friction, creating kind of flow and space. And it can be from
Hmm.
um, those day to day, like calling in sick, holiday leave. You talked about maternity leave,
Annual leave.
through, yeah, through to, initial assessments and, more clinical
Could be as
guidelines as
simple as,
well.
where do I get pens from? Oh, we're
Yeah,
all out of toilet paper.
yeah,
What do I do with toilet paper? Am I expected to go and buy this out of my own money? Or does the
yeah.
business give me this? Like, I had so many questions like that when I was a new grad. I was like, am I expected to buy my own toys? Am I expected to buy my own
Mm,
stamps and stickers for my children? And then, like, how
mm.
does this work with my money? Like, I had lots of questions like that all the time because I just wasn't sure of the expectations, which,
Yeah, so it's
yeah, fair
outlining
call.
those expectations.
Yeah, fair call, right? Like you, and
Mm.
and then that's really bad feeling because you're like just constantly questioning everything that you do.
And I think from being on the other side as the employer, it reduces the friction in terms of if someone's asking things of you. If someone asks me, "Oh, do I need to go and buy toys, or do you buy toys?" I don't know that I feel kind of like, oh, did they think that I thought they needed to go and buy toys and that, or I haven't provided enough? Do you know, like it just is like this, for me, it's like this overdrive of hypervigilance of, making sure that everyone's kind of thinking the same things. And I just think this is what's holding me back in terms of energetically because I feel like it's not all there and all sorted. I mean, we've got frameworks there, we've started. It's something that I really want to focus on to get sorted. But I have done it, like I've said this so many times. So,
Well, I'm trying to think back when I developed a lot of the systems for Speak About. I'm thinking it took me years. But I
mm,
didn't, but I didn't have I didn't have the ability to sit and do them because I was had a full caseload. So what I
mm,
did was I just systemized as I went. As something popped up,
mm,
I would then just create a system for that. So there was no order or logic to it, which is probably me. Like,
mm.
I just sort of was like, okay, if I've got asked this question today, I'm going to write down how I answered it, if it's a system, and then create that. So it's sort of built over time. And then I had a lot of team then that took responsibility for it. So I guess if you're a team member and you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, asking the same question, mate, you could go to your workplace and say, can I create a system for this so that the next person who comes into the business is not questioning things like I am? You can contribute that way. I
Mm.
started to do that at Community Health when I worked there.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's like amazing sort of leadership, isn't it? Like going in and saying, I'm going to create this because it's not
hmm.
there, rather than waiting for someone else to do it. I think that,
Yeah, or I was like, I don't want my colleague to make the same mistake that I did. I'm happy to share my knowledge if it helps the department flow better and it helps us be
mm,
better speechies. That's why we're all here, right? We're all a team.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
And I think that when I think about it, like my motivation is that I can delegate something in a bit more of a streamlined way that is going to be more effective for the person that I'm delegating it to. And at the end of the day, sometimes I have this like issue with delegating because I have issues clearly about doing everything myself.
All right,
And
Lizzie, we all have issues with
I
delegating.
know. But I read somewhere, I can't remember whether it was Clockwork or Profit First, I can't remember, but I think it was Mike Michalowicz. He said a business owner's role is to provide jobs for people. So when you're delegating, you're providing jobs and work for people, which is real like that really resonated for me. But I think again, then it's like it predetermines the expectation and what the next steps are. And it's setting people up for success because it's like, this is how this works.
Mm.
And it's all kind of outlined.
A lot of people also think and have the mentality, I don't want to be a bother. I want to
Mm,
contribute. Like, I don't want to be constantly pestering you. I don't want to constantly be asking you 1,000 questions because there already is 1,000 clinical questions that you need to ask. I don't really want to ask you basic stuff. So I feel like that's where systems can be super helpful for those types of people that might be a bit shyer or a more introvert or more empathetic, and they don't want to, they don't want to add extra work for someone. But
mm,
I mean, from an employee point of view to an employer, no, maybe the other way around. Like an employer, even though they're a business owner, they still only have limited capacity.
totally.
Like even if they wear all the hats and they do all the things and they founded the business, they still only have one brain and they still only have two hands and two eyes. And so, the systems are there to then, like we said, help the flow of the team because the business owner can't be across everything, no matter how savvy or good they are. And even if they founded the business, whatever their title or position is. And so the systems help them to create a better workplace for people, I think. And so if you're an employee and you're a creative employee and you think, why do I have to follow this system? Why do I have to do this? Like, um, I think it's to understand that it's to help the whole team and to help
Mm,
the business owner. And it's not to help them like do a favor. It's to help the flow so that we can be leaving our work at work. And then
mm,
say you do have a question, the business owner can give you their quality time and input because you haven't asked them 1,000 questions before that on like, where are the pens? Or,
mm.
like things like that. So hopefully the systems would give you a better experience as an employee.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you know what to do and what's expected of you. And it's all, yeah, it should make it easier and it should make your workflow more
Mm.
effective and productive. I heard
Yeah.
a really good analogy with Lorraine's mentor group a while ago. And it was about the business owner flying a plane and being in the cockpit. And when you go into the day to day and all the details, you're coming out of the cockpit and going into that, like serving the customers in the
Mm.
aisle, which means you're not in the cockpit controlling where the plane's going.
Mm.
And Lorraine was saying, you need to say to your team, I need to be in the cockpit. I need to control this
Mm.
plane. I need to make sure that we're going in the right direction and we're safe and we're like and ultimately she was also talking that her priority is that the business is safe. Like and it has that's our responsibility that the business is safe and healthy because if it's not, then you're completely abandoning
Anyone
your
has a job.
responsibility. Yeah.
We can't help anyone. We can't have any impact.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like preaching to myself here. Like it's just stay in the cockpit and I think getting people to step up and follow systems or even like creating systems. I think we're onboarding some new team at the moment. So even getting them to go through the systems and updating it as they're changing it. Or what it could do is put it into that Excel spreadsheet. I like the idea of that. So you've kind of got this almost like a checklist of things, and then
Yeah.
you can put the date that they've actually reviewed it and made sure that that's kind of what's happening because things change,
Yeah.
right?
I'm even thinking probably the Excel spreadsheet might be outdated. They probably put in some
Yeah,
AI thing like Scribe. You know that there's a platform called Scribe which creates platforms and systems for you. Like there's probably an AI
yeah.
version of it that's way
Well, I
better than an
thought
Excel spreadsheet.
maybe we could put it into Asana too, because I could just start an Asana project, which would be systems, and I could put stuff in there. And then when I like maybe put it into my schedule, I can just like flesh that system out and then I can give it to my leads. They can say, yes, this will work, this won't work, edit it, and then they can put it into the final thing.
Mm. And so then the question is, how do you get people to follow the system?
Yes.
That is the leader saying, so it actually requires a bit of discipline from the leader because say someone comes and asks you a question, it will take double time, but you need to say, so there is a procedure for that, or there's a step-by-step guide for that. You can find that here. Even though you could
Mm.
give them the answer really quickly, what you're trying to do is to prevent that happening over and over again and trying to lead your team to, I guess, become a bit self-sufficient if possible and have other avenues of how they can find the answers for themselves rather than just coming straight to one person. Because if you've got 10 team members and they all think that way, all 10 team members are going to one person. That's just
Mm.
like we were talking about limited capacity. A business owner only has limited capacity, or a leader, or a mentor, or a senior.
Yeah.
So that just requires a bit of like rhythm, routine, discipline, consistency. And, it probably depends on what mood you're in the day, where's your headspace at, how you're going, and whether you can encourage people to do that or not. But we do at Speak About one of our core strategic drivers for how we are going to achieve success is systems. So we've identified that. And so because of so a strategic plan is how you're going to be successful and achieve your goals. So we've identified systems as that. So then that becomes then ingrained into everything that we do. And it has taken 2 years, 2 years to ingrain ourselves into um, how we project that on a daily basis. So, it has to be a core value of yours or a part of your strategy. Like if it's not important to you, if it's not part of your strategy, then you wouldn't do it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But I do believe that it's an important part to grow, important component to grow. But yeah, if you've got an idea of how it works into your vision, then that might be how you give you an idea of how to implement it and how to make sure people follow it.
Mm.
Follow systems.
Mm.
Um, in terms of like the level of system that you have, that depends on your employees. So, you can have a very detailed procedure that's too overwhelming for people. You could have like three-step procedure where people say there's still gaps here. So
Mm.
I'm speaking to the business owners now. I think the level of detail that you have in your procedures can vary based on the needs of your business, the needs of your team. And that's individual per team. And
And
just the
probably like even the system itself or the process itself would
yes,
require
yeah.
different detail as well.
Yeah, I've like swung both ways. It's like a pendulum, like you have three
Mm.
steps and then you're like, okay, this is not detailed. And then you go like super detailed and it's like too overwhelming. So it's just finding that midpoint of what works for your team and your business. And the system needs to just achieve what you want it to. That people only come to you with questions when it's like needed, I guess. They're not having the same questions over and over again and not knowing what the boundaries and expectations are. But in saying all of this, if you do have systems and your team is flowing well, it should actually help your team keep work at work, which is the whole point of what we're talking about. Keep work at work and have enough time to do everything that they need to during the day and um, then have a nice balance and not burn out, right? Which is what we're all about here. And it will also then help them in times like I think the most stressful time is when you're sick. It helps
Mm.
you in times when you're sick, know what to do and all of that kind of thing and make it when you're not feeling 100%, make it smooth.
Yeah, I think it just sets everyone up for success when in any situation. I just think that it's clear. It's definitely something I really want to
So
focus
Lizzie's going to go away from this and do
on.
systems.
Accountability. Accountability.
But you know what? I hate systems. I hate doing it, but I like the result of them. So maybe that's
Yeah.
my why motivates me. But
Yeah.
they drain me like crazy creating it because I got to go into the
Yeah.
detail in my head.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and so, but I knew that if I didn't create the systems, I wouldn't be able to like step away as I needed to from the
Yeah.
business and things. So you've got to think about, as we always say, what's your why? What's your why? If your why
Mm.
is not big enough, don't worry about the systems. You know what I mean? Like your why has to be there. And that's only a question each business owner or each employee can answer themselves.
Mm. Yeah.
So there's lots of
Hmm.
food for thought today, isn't there? Lizzie's just thinking. I can see you on the
Yeah, I'm like,
screen and you're just nodding and thinking. If you are a business owner and you have more questions about systems and procedures, like we always say, send us a message. If you're an employee, we hope that this has enlightened you to maybe, follow some things in your workplace, or just have an understanding and education about how the workplace can function and how you can leave your work at work and not be taking things home on the weekend. But if you have any questions, send us a message. If you love this episode, share it with one of your friends. And until next week, we will chat to you soon.
Bye.